Hey guys, this is Danish. I'm back with our free community webinar sessions where we invite experts like Gian to talk about immigration, taxes, company formation, or general lifestyle, to be honest, because we live a very interesting lifestyle as a digital nomad. So it's good to hold these sessions and learn from the experts, right? Otherwise, you need to hire them and they are costly. So these are good sessions. Before we dive in, and introduce our incredible guest, I quickly want to share some community resources. Shout out to Safety Wing. They are quite famous in digital nomad community. They have the cheapest insurance. We are also talking about the special deal for us digital nomads, so stay tuned. Second shout out I want to give out is those 90% of the digital nomads, they register their LLCs or businesses in the United States. And we need to open a bank account or remotely because we don't want to travel to the US just to open an account, right? So Mercury comes in handy. They have a free account plus free international wire transfer. And on top, our community gets $200 cash if we spend $2,000 in 3 months, which for businesses is very little amount. So you don't pay anything for the account. This is incredible. And of course, visadb.io, which I am the founder, and you can find Jan, but as well as experts in 70 countries. We have personally verified them. They come from all digital nomad visas around the world. And you can click there, you can chat with them, you can chat with Jan as well. So check it out. I'm back. I'm really excited. We actually are honored that Jan is here. And Giancarlo works with Lex City, Italy. He's the country manager, I would say, in a simple words. And he will be talking to us about the visa options for digital nomads. So Gian, first, I really want to show my gratitude on the behalf of 153,000 digital nomads. How are you and how's your day so far?
That's a great community.
Yay.
Thanks, Dan. I'm doing amazing. Today is pretty hot in Italy as well. So I think here, who's in Europe right now is suffering a bit with the hot temperatures of the European summer. It's never been like that before, at least in the time I've been here. So
yes, this is like a heat wave. I'm in Greece right now, and whole day I'm just sitting in an apartment and then just go out in the evening. So I agree with you. And without delay, I will just dive in. My first question would be, generally, there is a general sentiment around Italy that it has one of the best foods. That's the not amongst digital nomads only, but around the world. And also it has some of the most beautiful beaches. Are these the two reasons which attracts retirees or now remote workers, or there are anything else which I'm missing out? Like why Italy is famous globally?
Well, at least food is excellent, as everyone that's been here can give a heads up and say that it is. The climate is also great. Landscapes, beaches, mountains, snowboarding in winter, which I love to do. But actually, Italy has a pretty great lifestyle. And you can find different regions with different lifestyles as well. So depending on the region of Italy where you are, you can find yourself having a more agitated and city-style life, or you can go to a neighborhood kind like countryside. It's really huge country and really has a lot to offer. And for new residents, especially, good tax regimes. So
wow, this is like you put it down, like you summarized quite well, mentioning all these points. And let's say if digital nomads want to come to Italy, and if they come from, let's say, outside Europe. So first, let's talk about, do I need a visa to visit Italy just for as a tourist reason?
actually depends on your country, because Italy is part of the Schengen space. So if you are coming from a country where you have a bilateral agreement with the Schengen area, then you receive a stamp on your arrival.
Yeah.
And it's usually valid for 90 days of visit in a period of 180 days. If you do not come from a country that has this bilateral agreement, you have to request a visa for tourism, business, visiting a family member, or something like that.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. So if we have a Schengen visa, we can visit Italy. That's incredible. But if I want to ask you, other than a tourist visa, other than this 90 days, I fell in love with Italy and the food, and I want to stay longer than 90 days. And I'm not a European citizen or passport holder. What are the visa options available for me?
Actually, Italy offers in a complex more than 21 visa options. And wow. Yeah, it's a huge number to look up to.
Yeah, so let's say 21 visas. If we divide them, can you categorize them? How they of these 21 visas are all for work or all for family or religious purpose? Like how you would divide them?
No, in Italy, usually they are divided in two different categories. One is work reasons, the other is non-work related reasons. And I would call a third category that is family members, because for each kind of work visa and no work visa, you also have the possibility to have your family members accompanying you in most of the cases.
Okay, so all right. If we talk about work visas, let's say, my question would be, do I need a job offer before from an Italian business to be able to get this work permit? Is that the only option I have?
For now, yes.
Sure.
For now, you have to have a job offer, because here in Italy, you have a system that is similar to Spain, where the company is the one actually applying for the visa in the first place. So the company has to apply for a pre-authorization. And when the government gives you this authorization, then you provide your employee with a nulla osta, and the employee can apply for the actual visa.
Okay. And my follow-up question would be that, can I register a business as a foreigner and issue a visa to me?
Yes, you can.
Yay.
There are visa options in this scenario that are really heating up here in Italy right now, and especially for digital nomads, I would say the startup visa. It's a new program, and you spend 50,000 euro investing on your startup with a great business plan and innovative idea. You pitch your idea to the government, and the government will have a special commission analyzing your request and saying that, oh, okay, this business can go forward, and you have your startup set in Italy. If it's not an innovative startup, you have to invest a little bit more, and it's capped. Each year, there's a limited number of visas that are issued for entrepreneurs and self-working employees, like freelancer.
Sure. If I further explore this startup visa, which requires 50,000 investment, are there any other requirements other than this 50,000 and having an innovative idea?
Yes. So the requirements are mainly divided in economic requirements and educational requirements, if you put it in that way. As a startup, there's a lot of risk involved, and the government doesn't want everyone applying with empty plans. So just for the sake of the visa itself.
Yeah.
But if you have a solid business plan, if you have an innovative idea, you come to Italy and you invest, you have the availability of this 50,000. It doesn't need to be your self-fund. You can be funded by a government, you can be funded by a bank. It doesn't have to be your own money. Then you'd still have to prove that you made in the last year at least 6,100 euro of income in the last year, so you can prove that you can sustain yourself in Italy. You have to hire health insurance, and you also have to demonstrate that you have suitable accommodations here in Italy for at least 1 to 2 years. That's the period of your first residence permit.
Wow. This is so $50,000 insurance, apartment proof. You have a bank statement for last 6 months showing $6,000 coming in from other companies as a proof. And then this $50,000 you're talking about, it's like we have to deposit, open a company account and deposit that money in Italy, or?
No, first you only have to commit yourself with a signed letter saying that you are committed to investing this money in your startup. And after the startup is open, after the bank account is open, then you deposit it and show proof to the government so they can confirm your visa.
Okay. And Jen, what is the what is the duration of this visa granted? Let's say the startup visa.
You have the visa to enter Italy for 1 year, but as soon as you get to Italy, you have only 8 days to request your residence permit. So it's a really short span of time. You enter with the visa. In 8 days, you have to show yourself up to the police station, give all the data again for them together with the visa, and ask your residence permit. It's called permesso di soggiorno. Usually this physical ID, let's call it that way, takes 3 to 6 months to be released. So you will be regular residing in Italy. You have a receipt with the date of an appointment to go back in the questura, that's the police station, to get your residence permit. And during that period, you are completely legally residing in Italy. The only problem is that you don't have the actual physical ID, and it's harder to travel while expecting from it. So
that sounds interesting. And like, how long the visa will be? I know it's 1 year I need to get in, but once I am in, 8 days I will apply for this residence permit. What is the validity of this residence permit? 1 year or 2 years?
You got a 2-year residence permit, and upon renew, if you have kept all the requirements, then it's a 3-year. And after 3 years, after the second period, after 5 years, you can get a permanent residence.
Okay, so that's interesting. And if I talk about like the startup visa, you told me, of course, requires 50,000, requires you to have an idea, mostly tech ideas, I guess, because I have been on those visas as a tech startup founder, and I know how they work. So not everybody have those ideas. So if we talk about some of the marketers, digital nomads, or creative people, not tech background or not entrepreneur, they're freelancers or remote workers or digital nomad workers. They have income, they have jobs. Do we have any visa for them? They don't have a job offer, they don't have 50,000, they're making money elsewhere, and they want to live in Italy for more than 3 months.
We will have soon. We are just expecting the government to release it, because we will have two different visas actually. One will be called the Digital Nomad Visa. The other one will be called the Remote Worker Visa.
Oh, interesting.
What's the difference between those two?
Yeah.
The Digital Nomad Visa aims for freelancers, for professionals that work for themselves. They have their income and they just want to become a resident in Italy and profit for that visa, for the residence permit. It will last 1 year, and you can renew it 1 year after year until you eventually get the permanent residence permit if you want to. The other one, the remote worker permit, aims actually for those employees that can work remotely from a company established outside of Italy. So let's say that if you work for a US company, you work remotely, you're an employee of the US company, you just want to come to live in Italy, but your company doesn't have any will of establishing themselves in the country, you would be able to apply as a remote worker.
I like that Italy is quite like, they maybe have learned from other countries and, like what's happening in the market. And they created two distinct types, which kind of fits very well, because I am an entrepreneur and half of the community, they are working full-time employees. On my team, they are also digital nomads. They are also full-time employees, right? So that's interesting. Do you know by any chance, Laura, is asking a question as well, and Munli, and I will be jumping, Laura and Munli, for your questions. Do you know any roughly the requirements for these two type of visas you just mentioned?
There will be, but the government still did not choose the requirements yet. It's just that we are waiting for. The bill of law passed. The Italian immigration law was already amended with those two types of visa, but they delegated to the government the choice of the requirements, basically minimum income requirements, educational requirements, and which kind of profession would fit those types of visa.
Interesting. And if I ask you, Gian, that let's say these visas are not out, startup visas are a little hard to get, there is a passive income visa. Can you tell me what is that visa all about?
Absolutely. That passive income was aimed for retirees, actually, but there are ways where you can get your passive income visa to live in Italy without being actually retired. And you just have to show proof that you have passive income that surpasses the 31K threshold per year, that you have accommodations in Italy, and that you have health insurance that covers you in the territory.
Okay. So 3 requirements: health insurance, accommodation proof, and 31,000 USD a year proof. It could be any income. It has to be coming from a government body.
It can be any kind of passive income. Italy mainly considers rents that you receive from properties outside of Italy. They consider pensions from governments or other entities, like here in Italy, for example. As a lawyer, we have the institution called Cassa Forense. It's basically the pension entity that takes care of the lawyers and other related professions. Separate body, but it is the official pension for this professional category, so it's accepted as well. You can have dividends from companies. So if you receive dividends from a company or from multiple companies that surpasses those 31K each year, you can prove that you receive a passive income. The only thing that Italy does not accept as passive income is work-related income.
Okay.
So if you present a payslip, if you present, maybe you are a sole professional and you have a company, but you are the main partner, only partner, and working partner, it complicates stuff because it's literally super blurry and you still depend on your work. I have to say that with this kind of visa, you cannot work in Italy for an Italian company or for yourself as a professional. You have to keep at least working remotely for the company or the activity that you explored outside of the country.
Sure. Sounds good. And my follow-up question would be, can I use savings, like just show 31,000 lying in my bank account and get this first 1 year?
No? Unfortunately, we received this question a lot, and actually, I know what's the reason behind you not being able to use savings is that the Italian government tells you that, oh, you have the savings, but you can actually burn it out in the first month. So what we need is proof of solid, stable, passive income, so you don't need the state to support you in the coming months.
That makes sense. Okay, so this is a very specific type of visa, and I'm sure some of the community members who have investments, who are retired and earning, rental income or other sort of income from shares or dividends, I think they should consider this visa for now. And as Jan said, that the Digital Nomad Visa will be coming out, so we can host another session around that visa. Of course, I'm excited. And I will ask a few questions we already have here. The first question would be, and Christian asked as well, no more, but let's start from the bottom. And so, Jan, if there is a visa available, let's say work permit, does it have any citizens like blocked? They can, like, for example, North Korea or some other countries?
There are countries that are blacklisted. but you have to represent a serious threat to the Italian government or to the Italian territory to not be able to get your visa.
Sure.
So you have to receive a formal denial of why your visa is not being accepted.
Okay.
And then you can always hire a lawyer in Italy to appeal from that decision if you want to.
Sure. Okay.
There are although visas as the elective residency ones that are discretionary. So the government doesn't have an obligation to give you a proper answer. They would just say that it's denied by no certain reason. But most of the countries nowadays won't have this problem.
Yeah, I mean, we all know if an authority do not want to give you a visa, if we give a red signal or red flag, if we somehow give that impression, then of course they can just deny. It's up to them. It's it's their country, so we have to impress, right? So what Laura is asking, so basically there will be a nomad visa for freelancers and one for corporate. Yes, Laura, I think Gian mentioned that. One will be for the freelancers who have uninterrupted income, or not like every month salary dropping in. They can apply for digital nomad visa, and remote worker would be who are actually full-time employees, who get paycheck payroll for a foreign company. And so yeah, more details will be coming in. I hope it will be simpler. The income requirement is the one most of the countries want. So I'm excited to host Gian again for those visas. Next question will be from Danny. Can you bring your team to Italy if you apply for the startup visa, or they have to apply their own visas?
Well, they have to apply for their own visas, but there is a catch there. When you apply for a startup visa, you can send to the government 5 requests for the same startups. Okay. So you have one startup, one idea, the same 50K threshold, but you have 5 partners, 5 founders founding the startup. Each one apply individually, but for the same startup, for the same project, for the same pitch. In special occasions, and if your startup is already established, that's something that I didn't mention, but it can be a startup that is already established in another country, and you are bringing the startup to Italy as well. It doesn't have to be a complete new entity. In special occasions, yes, in special occasions, you can bring up to 10 people.
Oh, wow. This is actually like a Canadian startup visa program. I mean, I'm from Toronto, and I know that Canada has a startup visa. They also offer 5 founders. They all can. The best part with Canada, though, is they all can get direct permanent residency or very soon, within 1 year, which is incredible. Yeah, but good to hear that Italy has that. So guys, if you are founders, if you have a company in LLC in US, just open a branch with the same company and then apply for these visas. 50,000, of course, still valid. Christian asks, I'm from the UK. If I buy a property in Italy and get the elective visa, do I pay taxes on the UK or in Italy?
It actually depends on what kind of income you are talking about. If you buy property in Italy, you will pay Italian taxes on this property. On your income, although it depends if it's a pension, if it's under source of income, then Italy has a bilateral agreement with the UK, taxing certain kinds of income only in the UK, or taxing certain kinds of income in the UK to a threshold and then the exceedant in Italy. Sure. And in Italy, usually when you have to pay taxes of foreign income, and let's say you have a bilateral agreement, you will only pay 11% in your home country, and in Italy you would pay 23. You still pay those 23 in Italy, but you get the 11% that you paid already in your home country as a tax credit.
Oh, okay. And all right, that's interesting. And this elective visa, you become a tax resident, or
you have to become, yes, that's the point. Actually, you have to become a tax resident.
Sure. Okay. I hope that they might change this in the digital nomad visas. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to see. And I'll move to the next questions. There's so many questions, so I'm just moving fast. Addie asked, related to the passive income visa, elective visa is royalty income, let's say generated from YouTube content he created a few years ago. Income is keep coming in, because that's how it works. YouTube, people are watching the videos, income is coming. Does that consider passive income?
It is. It is considered passive income. Royalties for any kind, they are considered.
Hey, Addy, let's go Italy. So I get excited. I have to be serious here, but yeah, it's exciting. Christy is back. Christy strikes again. Are there any restrictions on the number of days you have to stay in Italy on these visas, i.e. Digital Nomad Visa in Croatia? One cannot be out of country for more than 30 days. And similar cases, the countries have different requirements to stay. What about Italy?
Italy has this same requirement, because when you come to Italy and ask for residence here, usually you cannot stay outside of the country for more than 181 days. So you have to pass more than half of the year in Italy. And there's one type of visa that is an investment visa that doesn't require you to stay and doesn't require you to establish residence in Italy.
Oh, interesting. And quickly, let me check out the questions. We have actually a few more questions. After that, maybe I would like to quickly know about the investor visas as well. And Sage asks, when will the government decide on the requirements on those digital nomad visas? Do you have any rough date?
We don't have updates for now, but they should have decided it at the end of April. So they are delaying it already for 3 months. So we expect them to decide it as soon as possible.
Sure.
Because it's something that could come out anytime, and it's something that is already hurting the Italian economy, let's say, because we are losing a lot of opportunities to bring high net worth people into the country. And
I think, yes, I agree with you. And there's a competition. Everybody's grabbing the piece of digital nomads. So Italy should not stay behind. And with that, I will move to Sebastian's question. These visas you mentioned allow traveling in the EU. How long I can travel outside of Italy?
Yes, they are national visas, but they allow the holders of residence permits in Italy to travel for a period of 90 days in 180 days period. It's the same rule for Schengen tourism visa.
Okay.
And the thing is, who lives here know that there is few or no control over the borders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually not hard for one to spend more than that outside of Italy and not ever being caught or not even being. One problem is if you travel outside of the Schengen area and then you have stamps on your passport that prove that you stayed outside for more than 6 months.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Jan, because yes, there is no mechanism. You're taking buses, you're traveling through trains. There's no way to know where were you. So Sebastian, totally 90 days is a restriction, but feel free to stay. I haven't heard any case yet, so good luck. Sebastian asked, Smith asked, can retirees access public health system?
They can if they are European. They have a bilateral. They have the agreement with Italy, but at the first year, what happened under the elective residence visa? That's the one aimed for retirees. They have to pay for the first year a health insurance. For the second year on, they can choose to pay a fee to the government and access the national health insurance.
Interesting. So my question would be, so we are still paying the taxes, but they do not have first year access to the medical system, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Well, Italy is a place where you're still fine because you're
any kind of emergency. Of course, if you have any kind of emergency, you won't be denied in any place because by law you have the right to health. In the most cases in Italy, if you have an emergency, you won't have your request denied, of course.
Okay.
But if you have some continual treatment that you need to do. For example, you need to visit a doctor for every month or something like that. The health insurance comes in because Italy will not accept you to make an appointment with a doctor to see a specific kind of issue. It's only in emergencies that you won't be denied.
Wow.
You won't be denied.
This is good to know.
Yeah.
You know, like in emergencies, you got it covered. It's good to know. I will ask you now. As the question coming in, I'll go back and I would ask you, what is the investor visa and what are the requirements for that visa?
Okay, they are quite high, I will not lie. So the investor visa aims to bring money into the country, and you can invest in Italy under this visa in 4 different ways.
Sure.
So you can invest 250,000 euro in an Italian startup that's already running. You can invest 500,000 in an Italian company. Can be an open company, can be a quoted company. You can invest 2 million euro in Italian bonds, or you can make a philanthropic donation of 1 million euro into a government-backed project.
And that's a donation that is not coming back. And in return, you get a visa or you get a permanent residency with this 1 million donation?
You get the visa to enter Italy. And here in Italy, you can choose if you are establishing your residence or if you are just staying with the visa for this period of 2 years.
Okay. All right. And then is there a path? Let's say if I talk about all the visas, elective visas and investor visas and work visas, is there a path to permanent residency and then to citizenship?
Yes, of course.
Okay. How does that look like?
It looks like in most of the cases, so the standard way, let's put it like that. Standard way, you come to Italy under a visa, you enter Italy, you get your residence permit after 8 days, you live in Italy for 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years, and decide to apply for a permanent resident permit. Once you get the permanent residence, then you don't have to be worried about the job anymore. You don't have to be worried about other requirements that they might ask you while renewing the visa. After 5 years of permanent residence and a whole 10 years of residence in Italy, then you can apply for citizenship by naturalization.
Sure. Okay, that's cool. I'm a naturalized Canadian myself, so I totally understand this process. And so yeah, it's incredible. And if somebody, have decided to live their life in family, or they settle, people get married, they fall in love, their business is established. So Italy becomes their home. So it's a good investment. 10 years sounds too long, but if you have a business, your family, if your life is in Italy, then it doesn't, it's not that bad. We might have another question from Bibi. Nice name, Bibi. I like it. Hi, about your topic, it's not NEC if you have a EU passport, right? It's not NEC if you have a EU passport. Bibi, can you explain us a little bit, please? What do you mean by NEC, or Jan, if you understand what she's asking? If you go into the Q&A only, the first question.
Well, if you have an EU passport, then you don't have to apply for any kind of those visas. You actually have a different thing called, the EC is the European certificate. So actually in Italy, it's called a little bit different. It's called Certificato Anagrafico. And it's basically you registering yourself in the town hall. And that's for all European citizens. And you have to do it if you plan on staying more than 90 days in Italy. For that, you have 4 options, actually, because Italy, even being for Europeans, they restrict a little bit who stays for more than 90 days here. So if you are an European citizen and you are planning to stay more than 90 days in Italy, you have to have a job, or you have to be a freelancer, authorized to work in Italy, you have to be a student with a student permit, so you are registered in an institution and you are studying in Italy. And you can also live in Italy if you have sufficient income to sustain yourself, have health insurance, and have accommodations in Italy. It's a different requirement for European citizens. You have to demonstrate that you have at least 12K, 12,100 euro in the whole year. So those are the actual sufficient economic means of subsistence for this type of registration.
That makes sense. I'm not European, so it's really, I thought that for Europeans you just go and you start living, but I'm also learning that so even if I'm a European, there are a set of requirements I need to prove, even job and like or to show the income and register out in the town hall, right? That's incredible to know. And thank you, BB. Thank you for asking as well. So we are actually, because we are already 10 minutes over, Jan, I'm really, really grateful for you that you're still with us answering questions. To wrap up, to summarize, the current visas we have, ideal for startups if you have already business established, or if you're a retiree, these are the two options. And if you are sort of rich digital nomad, a small percentage which have millionaires digital nomads, you can look into digital nomad investor visas, which has 4 subcategories. You can pick whichever suits your plan and life goals well. So these are the current visas, and other visas are for students, but that's not our audience or people watching us. There may not be students as much, mostly are digital nomads, professionals. So, but there is a student visa as well, which you can look into and apply, or contact Gian to get some help. Through Digital Nomads Visa will be coming soon. Just want to give the shout out to Gian. So Gian is our community verified expert. What does it mean? That we know Gian, we know the company he worked, we have verified, we've been working with Lexity in other jurisdictions. So we have a very trusted relationship, and they have been already helping some of the digital nomads. So they are tested, verified. Feel free to contact them. And if you go through this webinar or through visadb, right, there is a link at the top. You will be treated specially, because we are friends, we are a family, so we help each other. So you will not be just treated like a client, but will be treated well. They take care of everyone, but you will be taken care of, with special care. So please reach out. There is a link. You can reach out to Gian, and we will be inviting Gian as soon as the digital nomad visas are out. We will be hosting this video session instantly, so you can watch. Yes,
absolutely. So, it would be my pleasure, and I'm open for any requests you might have, any inquiries, any doubts. At Lexity, we love people, and we love to hear from your background, your experience. We like to give you ideas of what you can do with your background and experience. Maybe you are thinking in a specific way of getting certain type of visa, but we hearing from you the history behind your career, behind your services, we can kind of guide you in a different and better direction. So
we can find a way. So this is incredible. So Gian, I really want to show my gratitude again on the behalf of 153,000 people who couldn't come today. Of course, we different countries, different world, different time zones, but they will be watching replay, number one, and second, it will be going into the newsletter and on the YouTube. And maybe most people watching us right now on the YouTube. So guys, there's a link in the description. Check it out. Contact Gian. You can see it. Very friendly, very young. So you can relate to him. You can ask him any questions, any awkward questions. Feel free, and he would love to help. We were almost finishing it, but our dearest Christy drop a mic drop question. Let's check out what is that. So what type of freelancer or entrepreneur will be considered? Any examples? That could be a very hard to answer, but let's try it, Jen.
Hard. Mostly that's the one thing the government needs to regulate on. And what we expect at least are digital professions for freelancers, someone that can, for remote workers, we are expecting the requirement of being able to fully working of a mobile computer. So of a mobile workstation, if you can do all your work from a laptop or from a PC, then you would probably be granted the visa under the worker ones. If you're a freelance, we are seeing most of tech professions, but actually I hope personally for Italy to provide this visa for creative professions, because we have so much talent in Italy, but we also have so much talent outside of Italy. And it would be amazing to have more creative professionals coming to Italy and being able to work under this visa.
Wow, this is incredible, guys. And Christy, thank you for your questions. And maybe you need some sleep. So guys, I think let's wait for this visa. I will be inviting our dearest Jan again. We'll be talking. And thank you very much, Jan. I really appreciate it. And Christy, you can actually connect with Jan on the link, and he would love to answer any questions you might have in the future. And I will be wrapping this up because Jan has to go. He's very kind, already stayed longer. Jan, thank you. And guys, have an amazing evening wherever you are. We love you. Take care. Jan, thank you, sir.
Take care, guys.